Good afternoon, my beautiful, friendly, awesome subscribers, non-subscribers, new subscribers, old subscribers, all you beautiful YouTuber creators and non-creators. Welcome back to Bailey Nectar, Cat on the Prowl Creations. We are going to continue on with how to continue to make this cape. If you remember correctly, last week I went over all of the materials that you will require. I had a total of 2,167 yards of a 4-weight color teal yarn by Mary Maxim. And I had instructed you all to start with a chain of approximately 42, which is for a 16-inch neck. And then what we were going to do is we were going to increase each row. So the first row was your chain of 42. Then you were going to do a half 42 plus 1. Sorry about that. And then you were going to turn your work around. And in the very first stitch, you were going to place a half double crochet. So that would have given you 2 rows of half double crochets for a total of 42 stitches each time, going back and forth. In row 2, what we did was we placed, in row 3, we had placed 2 half double crochets into the first half double crochet, and into the next 20 chains you're going to place 1 into the 21st chain, which was approximately halfway between the 1 and 42. You were going to place 2 half double crochets. Then you were going to go into the remaining chains, and in the last one you were going to end with 2 chains, 2 half double crochets in the last chain. Row 4, you were basically going to repeat the exact same thing you just did in row 3. You started off with 2 half double crochets in the first, then you half double crocheted into the next 21 chains, then into the 22nd chain you placed 2, then into the remaining chains, which I believe is 21, you placed 1, and then into the last you put 2 half double crochets. That would have brought you to 48. Row 5 is basically a repeat. Again, you start off with 2, down in the then you place 1 half double crochet until you reach approximately the middle part, then you place 2, then you continue on to the end, placing 2 at the end of that, and that would have given you a total of 51. Row 6, again, started off the exact same thing. You were placing 2 in the first, half double crochet into each of the next 24 approximately. You were placing 1 into that 25th stitch. You were going to place 2, and then into the remaining chain spaces, half double crochets, you are going to place 1, ending with 2 in the last, and that would have brought you to 54. Row 7 is the exact same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. 2 in the first, 2 down into the middle, 2 into the last, 1 half double crochet into each in between those stitches. Row 8, we did 2 half double crochets in the first, then in the next 27, etc., to 60, and then row 9, 1 and 2 was 42, right. I'm just making sure I'm giving you the right info, guys, okay? Row 9 was the exact same thing, and that row 8 and 9, sorry, would have been the exact same thing. At the end of row 9, you would have ended up with a total of 63. In row 10, you are now increasing by 6. So it would be 2 double crochets, 2 half double crochets in the first, 1 half double crochet in the next 18, 2 half double crochets in the next, and then you were going to repeat that to the end. At the end of that, you would have had 69. So you were going to repeat the increasing twice throughout that row. It would have been approximately every 18 chains, and then you place your 2 half double crochets into the next, go another 2 half double crochets into that, and go right to the end, placing 2 into the last. That would have brought you up to a total of 69. In row 12, we were increasing in every 6th or 7th chain. So it starts off with 2 half double crochets in the first, 1 half double crochet in the next 6th, 2 half double crochets in the 7th, again 1 half double crochet into the next 6th, etc., all the way down to the end. If you reach the end and you're like 4 chains left or 5 chains left, don't worry about it. You will end row 12 with I keep saying doubles, I apologize guys, 2 half double crochets in the last. Row 13, you will have placed, each time you're going to turn a chain 1, and turn your work around and start directly into that first chain. In row 13, after you've done your chain 1 and turned, you are just going to do one more row of half double crochets all the way down for a total of 81. Once you have reached your 81 chains at the end of row 13 or 14, depending on your stitching and how you're doing it, it would not make a difference. My ending total here for the measurement of a 16-inch collar was 42 to start, and I brought it up to 81. Once you have done your 81 stitches, you're going to chain 1, and you are going to turn your work around. And I forgot to grab my stitch markers. Now, the idea is you want to mark that chain 1 space, guys, because you will need to use that. This is one of the only times that chain will actually count for something. So please make sure that you mark this off. Bear with me. I'm just going to go grab my stitch markers. All right, sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to grab the stitch markers. So you're going to chain 1. And that chain 1, please mark that chain. You will need it. And you don't want to miss that spot. You're going to turn your work around. And now we're going to start working the actual pattern part. There is still going to be a few more rows of increases. But just to get the pattern introduced here at the top, I wanted to show you what we were doing. So now what you're going to do is you're going to you're going to yarn over, you're going to skip 2 chains, the first 2 chains, into the third, you are going to place your 2 half double crochets, your chain 3, and your slip stitch all right back into that same chain space. And that is what your first one should look like. Okay, moving on. You're going to skip to 1, 2, and right away you're going to yarn over. You're going to go into that third chain, and you are going to place your 2 half double crochets. Why am I doing doubles? I'm telling you guys, you know, welcome to trying to do something live. Forgive me. All right, yarning over. Did I do doubles there? Like a dummy? Did I? Did I? I think I might have. Okay, let me try that again. Bear with me. I have marked off my chain. No, you are doing doubles. Alright, Bailey is having a momentary, like, serious momentary loss of I apologize, guys. I am doing it right. It's 2 double crochets. If I said half double crochets, I apologize. So, you're skipping 2, and you are placing 2 double, see, I wanted to do it again. 2 double crochets, chain 3, and slip stitch. Again, you're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and into the third, you are going to place your 2 double crochets. Very important, your chain 3, and very important, your slip stitch all into that same stitch. Then you're going to skip 2 again, 1, 2, and into that third, you're going to continue to do what you have been doing. It's 2 double crochets, chain 3, and slip stitch. I'll show that to you one more time. Skip 2. Into the third, you're going to do your 2 double crochets. Your very important chain 3 and your slip stitch. So remember, guys, it's very, very important. You need to do your 2 stitches there, your 2 doubles, very, very important. The chain 3 is very, very important. If you forget any one of these steps or any one of these stitches, you are going to get messed up on the next row. So take your time with it. This is not a project that's going to come alive for you in a day, unless you're some sort of ninja kind of crocheter, because it's taken me a couple of days to actually get to where I am, and I am just about finished. I am putting the finishing touches on it for you guys so that I have something to give you next week. So once again, guys, I'm just going to reiterate. You're skipping 2 chains, 1, 2, into the third, you are placing your 2 double crochets, chain 3, and your slip stitch. I will meet you back up when we get to the very end of this, and I will show you what we are going to do in the last one. So continue doing that. Skip 2 into the third, 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch. Skip 2 in the third, 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch. You're going to continue that all the way to the end, and I will meet you back there. Okay, I have come to my end, and as you can see, I have 3 chains left. What you are going to do is at the end, after you've completed your last 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch, you're going to skip those 2 chains, and in the very, very last chain, you are going to place a double crochet. Please make sure to pick up both loops on that chain, and you're just going to double crochet, and that will end that row. And that is basically what this row is going to look like. Only in the first row are we marking off that chain 1 spot, okay guys? So every time we're going to start to repeat this pattern, and you have to do that chain 1. Always mark off that chain 1. You're going to always finish with a a double crochet. You're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet throughout the entire pattern. If you feel more comfortable, mark off the top of that 3rd chain, just so it's easier for you to follow or to find when you get back to it. And you are going to turn your work around. This is where the pattern actually starts. So we opted for, well, I'm opting for option 1, which is going underneath the chain 3 instead of into the chain 3s. As I said, there is no difference when comparing the 2 swatches. This I found to be just much easier to do. So once you have chained your chain 3, you are going underneath this chain 3 spot, and that is where you are going to place your 2 double crochets chain 3 and your slip stitch. Now, I can't reiterate enough times, guys. It is so very, very important to do your 2 double crochets, your chain 3, and your slip stitch. Don't miss a stitch. Otherwise, you'll be frogging back and trying to correct something, and it's no fun to start frogging. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to continue on underneath every chain 3 space. You're going to place your 2 double crochets. That's 2. Your chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And your slip stitch all back into that same spot. Again, under the next chain 3 space, you're going to do the exact same thing. Under 2 double crochets, chain 3, and a slip stitch. So I am going to leave you there, and this is what it's going to start looking like now. You see how pretty that is, guys? I mean, look how pretty. Okay, so you are going to just continue to do that all the way down till you get to the very, very end and your last chain 3 space. You're going to place your 3 doubles, chain 3, and slip stitch into there. And that chain 1 space that I told you to mark off, which is right there, you will place 1 double crochet into that. But I will meet you back up there once I am finished doing this row. All right, I have come to the end of this row. And this is the chain 1 space that we marked off. I have done my 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch into the last one. Now I am going to take this and I am going to place a double crochet into that space there, that chain 1 space that we marked off, and that will complete this row. That is the second row of doing this stitch from your half double crochet rows. Here is very easy. It's chain 3. I like to mark the tops of my chains because I find it just so much easier instead of trying to count or look for them and find them. This way I know exactly where they are. Don't be ashamed if you don't want to, that's fine. If you're good by eyeballing it, that's fine. It's all good. So what you're going to do, just so that you know, is once you've done that and you've chained 3, you're going to do the exact same thing. You are going to go underneath the chain 3 space. You're going to place your 2 double crochets, chain 3, and slip stitch. You're going to go directly into the next one, and underneath that chain 3 space, your 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch. Again, you guessed it, underneath that chain 3 space, 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch. You are going to do that all the way to the very, very, very end and into the top of your chain 3 space, which is there. You count 1, 2, 3 chains up, making sure to grab both loops. You place your double crochet there. I am not going to do another row here. What I am going to do is I am going to allow you to do that next row. This is what it will be looking like. It is such a very pretty, pretty, pretty stitch, guys. It really it is. So go ahead and finish off doing this row, ending with a double crochet in the last stitch. And I will meet you back then and show you how we're going to do our next increase rows. All right, see you in a few, guys. Once you have reached the end of completing 3 rows like that, you are going to chain 1 and turn your work around, because now we need to do increase rows again. So everything up until row 14 or up until row 13 were half double crochet rows. And then we started working on this by chaining 1, skipping 2, placing 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch into the same stitch, skipping 2 and doing the exact same thing all the way to the end, placing a double crochet in the last one. We chained 3, turned our work around, and into underneath the chain 3 spaces, we were placing our 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch, and we went all the way around. So this is basically rows 14, 15, and 16. I know I only have 2 rows here, but I would like to get you on to the next one, so at least we are just at the point where you are no longer increasing your rows by having to do double crochets. So I say chain 1, and then what you are going to do in row 17, maybe it's 18 for some of you, depending on what you did with your chains at the beginning, your half double crochet rows. This will determine how you do it, but now what we're going to do is you chain 1, and you are going to place 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2. Again, I am going to mark my first one, if I can see it. Where'd you go? There you are. Come to mama. Thank you, please. Thank you, thank you. There you are. I always like to mark my first stitch. All right. When we get to the chain 3 space, what you are going to do is place 3 double crochets into that chain underneath. So you're going to do 3 half doubles, 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to skip over that one there, and you're going to see this little hole here, this like gappy looking thing. That's actually part of the next set there. But what you are going to do is you are going to place a half double crochet into that spot as well. Again, into your chain 3 spaces, 3 half double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And then into this space here, right there, just before your next chain 3 spot there, that place right there, you are going to place a half double crochet. You are going to continue to do that all the way down, placing 3 half double crochets into your chain 3 space, and 1 half double crochet into that spot there. You see that, guys? So your half double whoops, it helps if I get it in and keep it in. Yes it does, yes it does. And your half double crochet there. So now what you are doing is you are starting to another increased row, but you need to straighten this out before you can get back to doing this pattern. So again, it's 3 half double crochets into the under the chain 3 space, 1 half double crochet into that, 3 half double crochets, 1 half double into there, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, and you are going to end with a half double crochet into the turning chain, the chain 3, the last one, the third chain, that third baby there, that one there. You're going to end this row by putting in your half double crochet into that stitch. I will meet you back up there and we will count how many half double crochets we have. Let's see if I come out with the same thing that I wrote down on my paper. Okay, we will be right back and I'll meet you at the end of that. All right, so I have reached the end of this row and I had placed 2 half double crochets in the top of the chain 3 from the previous row. Now I am going to chain up 1 and turn my work around. At the end of this half double crochet row, you should have 108 chains. The idea now is we want to increase the next half double crochet row till we have 222 total half double crochets. So right away you start off with your 2 half double crochets in that first stitch. Mark off your first one. So that's 1 and 2. So you're going to start with 2 and end with 2. And now what you want to do is you want to go from 108 half double crochets to 222 half double crochets. So if you subtract the 108 from 222, it gives you a total of 114. And if you divide that 114 by 3, it will give you the number of 38, which means you need to do a total of 38 increases down this row of half double crochets, starting with 2 here and ending with 2 in the very last one. At the end of that row, you want to have a total of 222. Once you have done that, you're going to chain 1, you're going to turn your work around, and you're going to start off the exact same thing. You're going to chain 1, you're going to turn around, and you're going to start off with 2 half doubles, and you're going to continue along that line. Now this is going to be the last row of increases, because now what you want to do is you want to go from 222 chains to 363. So the idea here is basically the way I calculated it. Now I could be wrong, and there could be a much better way of doing it, okay? But the way I had done it was I had subtracted the 222 from 363. That would give you an additional, what did I write here? So you're going to begin with 2 half doubles and an additional 139 increases including the 2 half double crochets in the last chain. And at the end of row 19, you should have a total of 363. So in the last row of increases, you need to do 139 total increases down that chain. The way you wish to do it is totally up to you. Once you get to the very end, you're going to end with your 2 half double crochets in the last stitch. You are going to chain 1 and turn your work around. From here on out, once you've got those 363 half double crochets, the rest is all going to be a repeat of the pattern. I will show you, or attempt to show you, where we are without destroying everything that I have here. And of course that's not going to work, but what the heck, right? So basically what you have done is you have done your collar. You've done your collar. This is where you ended your collar. This is where you started the first of the pattern repeat, the Duchess lace stitch, and you did a total of 3 rows of there. Then you did your half double crochets and your increases till you get to 363. Now I might have done 4 rows here to get to there. It's all up to you how you want to do it. If you feel more comfortable increasing it more gradually, go ahead. But you need to get to a total of 363. The idea is not to go more than 4 rows of half double crochets. And then from there on out, everybody, it is a repeat of the pattern for as many rows as you want it long. I started doing trebles at one point. I did 12 rows using double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch, and then I switched to chain 4 at the end and started doing a treble crochet into the underneath the chain 3 spaces. I did 3 trebles there, and I chained 4 and I slip stitched and went on to the next. It gave it a little bit of a lacier pattern using trebles, and it helped to work it up faster. Or you can just continue with the double crochets instead of the trebles. Totally up to you. I just wanted this to go a little bit faster. I kind of like the trebles, but if you're not comfortable with trebles, just continue to do rows and rows of chain 3, turn your work around, place your 3 double crochets into the underneath the chain 3 space, chain 3, slip stitch. Or once you've done 12 rows of doing it like that, chain 4, or how many rows you want to do. Then it's chain 4, turn your work around, and you're going to do 2 trebles, chain 4, and slip stitch underneath the chain 3 spaces or the chain 4 spaces if you start using trebles here. I hope that is clear to you. And then you just continue going down and down and down until you get to the desired length that you want your cape to be. That is it for today. I hope that was clear, everybody. This is what your sides are going to look like. Don't worry about this, because once we do our finishing, that will all get straightened up. And then I will put out another video, because I believe that will keep you busy for quite some time, guys, because it gets pretty heavy and pretty long, but that's what it starts to look like. So I hope you understand what I have just done, the increases, where you need to get, and how you start the next, you go into your pattern. Just remember, once you've done your last row of increases to 363 half doubles, you're going to chain one. You're going to mark that chain one spot because now you're starting the pattern again, and that is the first and only time in any of the rows is when you start to pick up that pattern again, where that chain one is very, very important, because when you get back to it, that's where you're going to place that double crochet. Then after that, it's very simple. It's a very simple repeat. It's chain 3, turn your work around underneath the chain 3 spaces. You're going to do your 2 doubles, 3 chains, slip stitch. You're just going to continue all the way down to the end. When you get to the end, you end with a double crochet, chain 3, turn your work around, and you come back this way. It's all very, very simple from there out. The important thing is your increased rows. You want to try to make them as seamless as possible, so it's not looking like it's all if you increase it too fast, it's going to look very wonky along the sides, and you don't want this. At the end of where we started here with the collar, just before we started to do that pattern, that is what your collar is. These 3 rows of your pattern stitch, the Duchess lace stitch, okay, will be sitting just about where your shoulders are, and then next you have to do your increases again to 363, starting with 2 doubles in the 2 half doubles in the first, ending with 2 half doubles in the last, and you just keep going and going until you have reached 363 total half double crochets. You're going to chain 1, mark that chain space, and then you're going to pick up your pattern again. You're going to turn around. You're going to skip 2. You're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch in the same chain, skip 2. That is only for the first row once you get back into the pattern. So it's skip 2, 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch, skip 2, 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch, skip 2, 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch. The next row, after you've chained 3 and turned your work around, it is 2 double crochets underneath the chain 3, chain 3 space, chain 3, and slip stitch all underneath that chain 3 space. Go on to the next one. Again, 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch. From here out, this is what you are going to do. Now, if you decide that you want to go after 12 or so rows of doing it with double crochets, because you're now getting tired and you want it to go a little bit faster because this starts to get very, very heavy, you can switch that up and you can start doing it with trebles instead. Totally, again, up to you guys what you prefer to do. But if you decide after 12 or more rows of doing it with the 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch, at the end, instead of doing chain 3, you're going to chain 4. Turn it around, and underneath that space, the chain 3 space to start with, you're going to place your 2 trebles, chain 4, and a slip stitch. After that, it's going to be, again, at the end, chain 4, turn work around underneath that chain 4 space if you're doing trebles. Once again, only if you're doing trebles. It's chain 4 underneath that chain 4 space from the first one. It's 2 trebles, chain 4, slip stitch. To the next one, 2 trebles, chain 4, slip stitch. When you get to the end, it's chain 4 and turn your work around. Or, like I said, you can just continue to do it using chain 3s, 2 double crochets, chain 3, slip stitch, 2 double crochets. Again, I leave it up to you. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to contact me. This will get you going, and all you're going to do is you're just going to continue to do that pattern over and over and over again, over and over and over, for as many rows as you want it to be, or for as long as you want it to be. Now remember, in doing this stitch, it is going to pull up a little bit and you might have some curl, but my next video tutorial will be, we are going to switch up that stitch and use something that will anchor it and make it a little bit heavier on the bottom, so that way it's not pulling up. So until then, everybody, I wish you a really, really good day. I apologize if at the beginning, I totally apologize for that, guys. I was losing myself in what I was trying to show you all. So it is double crochets, not half double crochets, that you are using for the stitch. That's what it is. And you just, like I said, once you finish those increased rows, you need to get to 363 half double crochet chains to continue. Try very hard to do that over 3 rows, maximum 4. Okay, to do those increases, and then from there on, it's just a repeat of that stitch. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I apologize if I goofed or did not say something correctly. Please point it out to me. I need to know, okay? And until I do the finishing part with you guys, I'm sure that will keep you going and busy for a little while. This is not, like I said, a one-day project unless you're some sort of ninja crocheter. It is a big project. You are creating something big. It is almost on the scale of a blanket, okay? Because that's what you're doing. It's like you're making a cape, which is really like a blanket that's going to be wrapped around you, but you want it to come around your shoulders and you want it to come down your arms. I will not be putting armholes into it because of where mine is going to end. It's pretty much at the end of where my hand is. It'll come to here. So, which comes pretty much, if you put your arm down beside you on your sides, you'll see that it comes down below your thighs almost, so, or just about to where your thighs are. If you want it longer, you just keep going and going and going until you get to the end. And then what we will do is we'll do a finishing, a totally different end to the bottom here to weight it, as I put it. And until then, guys, stay blessed, stay creative, stay inspired, and remember to do all things with kindness. Questions, please direct them to me, not to anybody else, because nobody else knows how I'm working up this pattern unless you're following along here. So if you have questions, very, very important, please address me. My email address is sbeverlee@hotmail.com. Any questions, you can email me or leave a comment underneath this video. Stay blessed, everybody. Mwah! And have a good day.